I'm joined now by a pension administrator in the person of Sani Mustapha. Thank you for coming on Business Daily today.
Thank you, Chiamaka. Good morning.
Good morning to you too. But you have heard from Nigerians on social media, and if I do say so, most of them seemed to have, a particular view, talking about accessing your pensions and how even, the pensions that they get are peanuts, just like the NLC president stated. But let us hear from you now. From your own point of view, as someone who is, a major player in the pension sector, how would you state, what would you say is the current state of the Nigerian pension system?
Well, the Nigerian pension system, is divided into two. There is the defined benefit, which is the old pension scheme, and the current and thriving contributory pension scheme. Sincerely, the current contributory pension scheme is doing very well. It has accumulated enough funds for those that will eventually retire under that scheme. Now, there are 4 pillars of pension. Number 1, adequacy. Number 2, sustainability. And number 3, integrity and accessibility. Remember, pension is a factor of the wages you are getting. Generally, the wage in Nigeria over time has never been adequate. We are just managing. Very recently, the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress were fighting to increase the minimum wage. We have to understand that pension will be a part of what you are earning. So if you are earning low, automatically your pension will be low. But you see, the contributory pension has done very well for Nigerians. We now have quantum of funds never heard of before, almost 22 trillion just waiting for retirees to access. So this thing is a very good development, and we should not try to laugh over it. Rather, if we want our retirees to be very happy, we should go back to the World Bank Social Security pillars. The World Bank over 20-30 years ago said only one pension scheme cannot be adequate for retirees. There should be social security, which unfortunately, when we want to introduce the CPS, we stopped it. That is under the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund. There should be mean-tested help, whereby local government, state government should be helping poor people where you see yourself earning below poverty line. They should find a way to help you. There is also the mandatory pension, that's the CPS. Then you will have voluntary pension, whereby if you are well paid, you can take part of your money and give to agencies, or you do additional voluntary contribution under the CPS. That way, when you retire, you will get your pension very adequate.
Well, you said something that stood out for me, talking about the contributory pension scheme and how that has been quite impactful and has generated, funds, which you did mention recently. But the question now is, where then is the gap, or do I say the lacuna? Because that doesn't seem to be the reality of most Nigerians in the area of, swift collection of their pensions and even collecting the adequate amounts that they are due to collect. So what exactly is the challenge regarding, the pension scheme, like you rightly stated, that is obviously working and working right, and the Nigerian who is complaining about, the current pension system?
Well, I can tell you that when you retire, you are not going to collect your whole salary. It will be, as I said before, part of your salary. Financial retirement planning comes into it. When you are working, as you move towards retirement, you are supposed to reduce your expenses. You are supposed to make sure that as you go into your retirement, your need for money has reduced. You have taken care of most of your needs. Housing, you have adequately have a house. You can't go into retirement paying rent. But even if you are going to be paying rent, have you made sure that what you are going to earn as pension can be able to take care of that? Health, clothes, children. The way we do in Nigeria, people expand their way of life. Therefore, by the time they retire, the pension cannot be adequate. And then, of course, they will never blame themselves, they will blame government. There is no place in Nigeria where you will retire with all your salary, except you are a permanent secretary, you are a head of service, or you are all these military police people. Those are the ones that will go into retirement with full salary. And even that, you will see that there are some complaints here and there.
Well, well said there. I have been speaking with Sani Mustapha, who is a pension administrator. But there is still so much more to come as Business Daily will continue after the break, so do stay. Watching Business Daily, coming to you live on Trust TV. Just before the break, we started a conversation on the current state of the Nigerian pension system. And we are continuing that conversation as I have my guest still right here with me. He is Sani Mustapha. He is also a pension administrator. Thank you again for coming on Business Daily. And you stated something at the start of the conversation. You emphasized on pensions being sustainable. But the question now is, we heard over the week from the federal government stating that it currently will be spending as much as 3 trillion naira on payment of minimum wage, pensions, and gratuity. And the question now is this really sustainable moving forward?
The potential for Nigeria is much. 3 trillion paying for services, for staff expenditure. It is not a big deal. The most important is we should reduce our expenses abroad. We should export more for Nigerian economy, which has big potential. Look at agriculture. We can feed the whole of Africa. That is what the experts are saying. So this 3 trillion, obviously the federal government have to find the money to be paid. It will increase also pension contribution by federal government to Nigerian workers' pension account. For example, they pay 10%. If you now increase it from 30,000 to 70,000, you pay 10% of that to their pension account. More money will go into the pension accounts of Nigerian workers. Then the other defined benefit, which is budgeted and paid, will also have to increase, because it's every 5 years you have to increase pension, or every time you increase the minimum wage. So all that will go in, the gratuity will also increase. But the most important is, let us key into this contributory pension. The way the regulator handles pension can be seen that they are getting results. So the state government, federal government should really give support to the regulator to find a way to finally settle all pension issues.
You've emphasized on, the support that the regulator needs.
Yes.
But vis-a-vis, the current economic realities, talking about the rising inflation, exchange rate challenges, to even rising public debt. Why I also mentioned the amount I did initially was, paying such amounts when we have, public debt on the other hand. So bringing all of these into the picture now, how would you say the pension system or even the administrator is grappling through, the current economic challenges it is facing?
You see, the beauty of it, if you pay workers very good salary, it is envisaged that their productivity will rise. The way they do work will improve, efficiency will come into the system. And people will fear to be penalized and sacked from their work because they know they are earning good salary. So therefore, the work in the economy will bring back that money. Taxes will improve. That is the way it is done. When you pay good salary, you pay good pension, people are happy, they work more, and productivity will increase. And the economy, the GDP, will all go up. By the time you give 1, 2, 3 years, you will see that the balance of payment of your own economy has improved. And then payment of salary, payment of pension will be very easy. Yes.
Well, I completely agree with you on that, especially, the conversation around workers' productivity increasing with the increase in, salaries. But let us talk to the private sector specifically. You have, emphasized, the current minimum wage by the federal government. But the federal government seems to have spoken, not just for the federal government now, but for state government as well as the private sector. But from your own point of view, would you say that that amount is, the private sector is capable of paying that amount from or to the Nigerian worker? And will that impact on, the levels of unemployment in the sector? What would you say regarding that?
Well, the minimum wage law do not cover everybody in the private sector. If you have less number of staff, the law will state it, that if you have certain number of staff, you need not to pay the minimum wage. But if you have a certain number, it means your business has grown to take a certain number of staff, then you must pay the minimum wage. So I believe with that outcome, definitely people can pay. The state government, they need to reduce, ways of how they lose money a lot. They are not getting taxes. You will see that they may take maybe 15% of what they are supposed to get from taxes. And then there are a lot of projects that are done not efficiently. If they can take care of all the loose ends at the state, they can be able to pay. And then make sure that your staff are only those that merit such positions. You don't just go and be sharing government positions for those you like, things like that. Make sure that when you set out, you want to recruit, you follow that recruitment guideline. You get the best and they will work for you, and I'm sure you will get your benefit.
Well said. It's important, like you stated, that states should, look inward towards tightening those loopholes, like you've rightly mentioned. But there is a new head, of PENCOM, talking about someone who is going to, lead the affairs of PENCOM.
Yes.
But you have also spoken to how the administrator, in the person of talking about PENCOM now, should have the support of not just the Nigerian workers, but the government as a whole.
Yes, yes.
So what would you say should be the key priority areas for, the new head at the helm of affairs at PENCOM?
I welcome the new Director General of PENCOM. She is now going to join the line of those hardworking Director Generals that have set up the system. All did their best, and they never left PENCOM below what they took it. They all add their value. I pray the new DG will tackle the issue of accrued right. These accrued rights have brought bad name for the contributory pension. I must also put it on record, we should thank the outgoing head of service. She has set up a committee to pay off all accrued rights so that when workers retire, they will immediately start getting their pension. What usually happens, they will wait until federal government put the money in their budget and then pay for this accrued right. So definitely, if they can solve the issue of accrued right on the workers of federal government, it will reduce a lot of hardship in the scheme. Then, of course, the staff welfare of the PENCOM itself, because people, when they wake up, they say PENCOM are one of the highest paid, but they are working. Look at the millions they have set aside and watch over it as a watchdog. You need to give them good welfare. Then awareness. The DG need to work with civil society organizations to increase the reach. Use the media. Make sure everybody is up to speed with what is happening at the CPS. It's really a good news. The workers from the private sector who have been getting their retirement pension from the inception, you should all call them to this TV to talk about it. They are very happy.
You seem to say, very good things about the contributory pension scheme.
Of course. You see, whenever there is an issue of money, the first thing they ask is there money? Once there is money, any other thing is just, addition. There is money set aside for Nigerian workers. Trillions of naira, just waiting for them to retire. That is a very good thing. Some other countries are looking at Nigeria with envy because Nigeria somehow managed to get such a money set aside for retirement.
I'll go back again to this because you've rightly stated that there is money. These monies are on ground.
Yes.
But it's not uncommon to hear pensioners still complain about getting their pensions as at when due. We also have heard from the NUP recently talking to issues around, pensioners facing these challenges. So where is it a problem? Is it a challenge of awareness, or what exactly is the problem?
Okay, let me dissect the issue to you. The NUP, they are doing very good work. They are the union leaders. But whenever they open and say people are facing challenges, they are not talking about contributory pension. They are talking about pensioners under state.
Okay.
You may even hear them saying that pensioners are earning 450, 1,000 naira as pension. They are talking about state. The contributory pension, you cannot earn less than 10,000 naira, no matter your level of salary. And before 2007, 2008, some people are earning 5,000 naira as minimum wage. So the contributory pension made it that nobody will earn less than 10,000 naira. And you can fact check it. So when NUP is talking, they are talking about states. States, a lot of states have not keyed into the new pension scheme. You understand? Those that have keyed into this pension scheme, you can hardly hear complaint. For example, Jigawa. Jigawa from day one, they key into the scheme and they are very happy about it. But some states, I don't want to mention, we pray that they will get to the regulator and see how they can help them energize their pension sector.
So is it a case of these states not being properly aware of the benefits of, the contributory pension scheme, or in your interactions with, key stakeholders across the nation, what are the major complaints that they have as to why they haven't, been a part of the contributory pension scheme so far?
Well, I believe the Constitution is where the issue lies. The Constitution gave states right to do their own pension scheme. And while some states, you know it now, while some states will take a progressive action to solve a problem, some states may want to benefit from the protracted pension issue. Some states, some state officials, they may, I'm not very sure, but they may. Because this thing, for the last 20 years, the National Pension Commission have been reaching out to states. Come, let us sit down and iron out. See states like Lagos, they have keyed it in. They don't have problem. See states like Kaduna, they have keyed it in. Jigawa, they have keyed in. You don't hear much problem there. But other states, they do not want to do.
Well, is there a role that the NUP at the state levels can play towards, pushing for their states to finally, take the bold step of, joining the contributory pension scheme? Or are there steps that Nigerian workers can take towards, ensuring or pushing for this change that we need to see at the state level as well?
Right. It's all stakeholders. NUP is a stakeholder because NUP will be very happy if their pensioners are happy. They can engage the states. But you see, if you put NUP and NLC, you will see that these are a union of retirees. It's a moral issue. When you look at them, old men like me that are retired, when they are talking, the young politicians will not give much. But when NLC said, we are going on strike, then you see that there is a lot of flurry of activities to start. So NUP can link up with NLC and really solve this pension issue.
Collaboration.
Collaboration. Yes. And then I pray professionals should also push their states by talking about it, by linking up with governors and powerful stakeholders, that look, if we solve this pension issue, our parents, our uncles that retired would be getting their money as at when due. But right now, what happened in some states, they will stay for 1 year, no kobo. No kobo. Then it is only when the governor had maybe on TV that his pensioners are not paid, they will now bring a very big file with billions of naira inside that, please approve it. Then they will now go to the press and say, we have settled 5 billion. This thing is supposed to be monthly. Nobody is supposed to even hear it. There should be a dedicated account where money is paid every month. Immediately they get their FEC sharing, they should also put it there, and then this money goes to the pensioners. And pensioners are even reducing. So
well, good thing we're having this conversation. It's important that stakeholders all come together to emphasize and amplify discourse on this. The media, CSOs, like you have mentioned. But I would like for us to talk about technology and the role that technology plays in this.
Yeah.
The entire pension system in Nigeria now, because we understand that technology has a way of improving transparency, improving efficiency. But where is Nigeria in that aspect?
As I said before, the defined benefit, the old state, they don't even use any technology except your laptop and maybe Microsoft Office. But the contributory pension, I'm happy to tell you, from 2004, it started with technology. Biometric capture, you understand? Even the way they handle their assets. the Pension Commission will tell them that this is the software we want, so that it can be talking to us. You don't have to come, you are head of investment in a PFA. You don't have to come with a bunch of paper to give you a report. No, as you are investing, it is also talking to our money. So the contributory pension is based on technology. That is why, if you can ask the anti-graft agencies, you will find out that there is minimal corruption, there is minimal fraud in it.
So what is your outlook for the contributory pension scheme in a long term, say 5 years to 10 years from now?
It's going to improve, it's going to increase. The incoming DG have to understand that there are a set of people that don't want the contributory pension. They prefer to go back to the old ways.
The analog ways.
Analog ways. Because that way there are gaps, and that is where they are making their money. And they are powerful. So the DG need to, as the former DGs worked hard to keep the scheme safe, she too has to work hard, twice as hard. Because right now they are increasing people who think that they are not getting what they are supposed to be getting from the pension system. They are working against it. So she has to work very hard. She has to work with her team to ensure that as she's handed over, she too will one day hand over the scheme, robust as it is. This contributory pension is a win-win for Nigeria. I can assure you. It may not solve all the problem 100%, as I told you, because the scheme is not in charge of wages. If wages are low, obviously pension will be low. That is it.
Well, the contributory pension, in the words of my guest, the contributory pension scheme is a win-win for Nigerians, and is calling on all state governments to hop on the contributory pension scheme. Thank you very much. My guest, who is Sani Mustapha, he is a pension administrator. Thank you for all the insight you have given to us today on the program.
Thank you very much.
And this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Business Daily. But join the conversation on social media and let us hear what your thoughts are on the discourse for today. My name is Chiamaka Enendu. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.